Hello and welcome back to Foundation Fabs and Flushes 2022 week 3, and today I'm slightly nervous because I'm trying out a powder foundation and I have a love-hate relationship with powder foundation, so let's see how this one goes. If you would like to see whether the lasting finish powder foundation from Rimmel looks nice and wears nice on an oily acne prone skin, then all you have to do is keep on watching. Before I read the claims, I'm going to moisturize. Since this is a powder foundation, I do want to have a moisturized skin, but I don't want it to stick awkwardly into my not yet synced in moisturizer. So I'm using my go-to moisturizer. This is the Clinique Moisture Surge. It goes without saying that I already washed my face this morning and I'm just moisturizing now. Let's read some of the claims about this foundation before we test it. This foundation claims to be medium buildable coverage, transfer proof, sweat and water resistant, and it is vegan. The product details are: Rimmel London Lasting Finish Compact Foundation is a lightweight, soft touch powder foundation. It controls shine without feeling dry on the face. The fine powders blend seamlessly to provide medium buildable, natural looking coverage that lasts all day. It comes in a convenient compact container with a pressed powder for an easy on-the-go makeup refresh. Available in the range of 12 shade soft touch powder that lasts for a buildable yet lightweight coverage that lasts all day and controls shine, blah blah blah. All of this. Dermatologist tested, suitable for sensitive skin, will not clog pores, suitable for all skin types. And we've got some instructions, but we all know I'm going to ignore that. Rimmel does have a lasting finish liquid foundation, and I have tried it years ago before starting YouTube, and from what I remember, it does have a decent coverage and it does last a reasonable amount of time on the face. The claim is 25 hours. Never tested it. Like I said, this is before YouTube, so I would just put foundations on and hope for the best. And I wonder, because I do think this is somewhat a new product, I do wonder whether they even tried to make it good coverage and long lasting. It does say that they have, like, they are claiming that this is medium coverage and long lasting. Let's just find out, shall we? So let's zoom it in and let's try it out. The compact itself seems pretty cheap, but I do like it. It looks really nice. It has like this pearly soft finish and it looks absolutely fine. In complete honesty, it actually reminds me of the One Size powder foundation, which I really want to try out, but it's like impossible to get One Size in England. So it comes like this. It does have the little sponge, which I will be trying out, but the first thing I want to try out is my favorite way of applying powder foundations, and that is with a brush. I have the Expert Face brush from Real Techniques, can't remember exactly what it's called, and I'm going to be generous. I'm, you know, proper diving in. It does come up, it does fluff up. I'm not going to waste it. I have some on the brush itself, and let's see. So I have this spot right here. I'm going to sort of start from there, and let's see. I did forget to say and even check what shade I got for myself. This is 005 Ivory. I did have to sort of go online and have a proper look, try and find the right shade, and I don't think it's bad. At the moment I do have a slightest bit of tan, so it might come across as slightly too light, but it's definitely not bad at all. If you were to use this as your powder, then you do need a slightly lighter powder because it could make your foundation darker. I am constantly sort of dipping into it and swirling it on. This is sort of the harder part to judge. Am I putting a bit too much on? You can see by my forehead that it's a little bit light, but it'll be fine. Okay, and this is one side of my face with one sort of layer of the foundation on, applied with a brush in comparison to my bare face. I must say, this does have some coverage. Like, I genuinely thought, just like with any powder foundation, that this was going to have like next to no coverage. I do see slight redness from my spots. And speaking of spots, because it is a powder foundation, I can definitely see the dry skin of my spots. Like, those 3 big ones are healing. And it's very noticeable that there's dry skin surrounding it. There's not much you could do with that. Like, this is a powder, and to be honest, even with a liquid foundation, it probably would highlight. But so far, I'm actually quite impressed. It doesn't look dry. It does not look dry, which I'm very surprised about. I like it so far. There's something to it, you know? There's something to it. On the other side of my face, I am going to try their sponge. I also do have my sponge, which is completely dry. Let's try theirs. Is it like magical? Maybe you just need this tool as well. Okay. I always like how with these, you can definitely tell you're picking up a lot. So let's see. You can tell this has coverage. Okay. If I were to use this sponge, it would take me absolute ages, and I'm not here for that, you know. Let's see a slightly bigger, more comfortable to hold sponge. Yeah, and because of the surface area, it just applies it so much quicker. Still not as quick as a brush. Okay, and this is the other side of my face with one layer of the powder foundation on, applied with a sponge in comparison to my bare face. It does appear, and it does seem, and it is, better coverage with the sponge. However, it just sits a little bit more on the face. I don't mind it, but it looks a little bit more heavy, and like I said, it just sort of sits on the face. I am going to leave it like this because I do wonder whether the warmth of my face will kind of blend it in a little bit more. So far, I really like it, and I'm shocked and I'm surprised. So the next step would be to conceal my under eye and use cream bronzer, but I can't use either of those things. Another reason why I'm usually not a fan of a powder foundation. My under eyes don't look bad. It did conceal them quite nicely, but I do want to bronze. And another thing with powder foundation, am I going to take it off with my brush when I apply bronzer? Well, let's see. Definitely now I've applied the powders on top. They blended in really nicely with that foundation. It does look really nice. And the coverage is decent. I'm shocked. There's not much else to do. It is 9:40 to 9:30, and whew, let's see and hope for the best that this lasts on my skin. I mean, it is called lasting finish, so it better, okay? 3 hours in, and this is what my face looks like. In my modest opinion, it looks amazing. No word of a lie, this looks like a liquid foundation, especially now on my skin that has clearly seeped through some of the oil. I I really like it. So far it's blowing me away. I just want it to be somewhat long wearing. I am going to blot because I'm so impressed with it. Well, and I look like this. I cannot stop looking at myself, if I'm being completely honest. It looks really good. Yeah, I mean, there are imperfections on my face that are still there, and the foundation didn't hide them very well, but I really like it. I've got no other words. I'm just going to blot and see if it's long wearing. Maybe I can come up with something more after you know, a couple more hours. It is not a different day. I just needed to get a little bit more comfy, and it is hour number 6, and as you can see, my skin can tell it's hour number 6. I look very oily, but I really, if I haven't said that before, I really like this foundation. It is starting to settle into my forehead lines. The more sebum this gets, the more sort of pasty in texture it gets, the more it sort of looks like liquid foundation. But I do want to blot, and I will sort of apply a thin layer of this powder, sort of like as a blotting technique on one side of my face. See if you can reapply this foundation throughout the day, and is it going to look nice, is it going to look too cakey, etc, etc. So let's blot first and let's see. So hopefully there's like a little sort of dewiness here on this side. This is completely matte now. I don't think it looks cakey, at least not more than it did initially. Let's keep going. I am shocked how much I like this so far. Alright you guys, 10.5 hours, this is my last check-in. As you can see, the foundation is still on. My face is very shiny, but as I blot, I'm going to sort of tell you why I think it's really good. It lasts, you know, it has come off the spots, but it hasn't covered them too well in the first place. These really stick out, and they're just there, okay? It is that on that. If you have acne, like visible acne, big cystic acne, this will not cover it. This will not look great on your skin. But if your skin is a bit like mine, where you do have an odd spot here and there, like, it has covered that really nicely. I still haven't finished blotting, by the way, but I'm trying to sort of look at my cheek that I've blotted several times today, whether the foundation is still on, and it really is. It has stayed on my skin. I cannot believe it. The fact that a powder foundation has lasted. Honestly, I don't even think Bare Minerals matte foundation stays on my skin this well. I like this powder foundation so much. Dare I say, this will replace my Bare Minerals. I believe the foundation is £10. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to put it up on the screen now. If it is wrong, I do apologize. But every foundation in the drugstore is around £10, and this one is actually really good. Highly recommend it. Let me know if you try it. Let me know if you like it, because I would love to know. I think this is really good. I would also love to know whether you want me to test out the liquid version of this on my channel. Again, I've tested it, like I've tried it before. I wore it before, like 10 years ago, and I remember it to have decent coverage. I remember it to be a little bit cakey and heavy feeling, and this one, is sort of similar in that case. It does look like, especially initially, it does look a little bit heavy, but I was generous with how much of this I've put on. Again, yeah, I'm not gonna say I like it again because you've heard me say it. As always, thank you so much for watching for Foundation Fabs and Flushes 2022 week 3. It's a success, it's a fab, it's a massive fab. I'm really liking it, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. But for now, thank you so much for watching. You are the best, and I hope to see you next time.